Greetings YouTube, Hell's Unicorn once again here to talk to you a little bit about what I observed tonight in the Republican debate that was hosted by Fox News and the Republican Party of Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, just to start off with, I would like to congratulate the Florida Republican Party for actually being dumber than the South Carolina Republican Party. It was uncanny, the lack of discipline, civility, and politeness on the part of at least half of the audience in attendance, who thought it necessary to boo my candidate, Ron Paul, simply because he has a slightly more rational and less emotion-based viewpoint on our foreign policy. Now, this was actually not the tip of the iceberg, but instead one of many parts of a rather sizable cesspool of very negative, I guess the term I'm looking for to describe this is just sheer foot-and-mouth syndrome. If you looked at the pre-debate focus group footage, you will note a couple of people in the focus group were a little bit hostile at the notion of Ron Paul being the respective nominee. As a matter of fact, there was one person in the audience, a rather heavy-set person who probably had a good deal more weight in his stomach than in his head, who stated that Ron Paul was clinically insane. He said this with a very nervous tone in his voice, I might add, which leads me to believe who the actual insane person is. But think about this for a second. A person who thinks it's a bad idea to either kill or displace 3 million people in another country, thinking that to be insane. Oof. Pray tell, if that's the definition of insanity, I think I'm in big trouble. I think the loony bin's going to be calling me soon. But aside from the comedy factor in tonight's debate, there was some positive aspects, some improvements, if you will, in Fox News' conduct. The moderators were smart enough to know their place and to stick to questioning, although I wish they would have, not engaged in all that nonsense with these so-called front-runner candidates, all of whom, you put their heads together, you get a sewer pipe with very little content in between the circumference. All the mudslinging, all the attacking, all this other stuff that was basically provocated by the moderators was completely unnecessary. I don't care about the fact that Fred Thompson disapproves of Romney's view on this or Giuliani's, view on that. They're all warmongers. They've all supported this ridiculous foreign policy. They have all voted to greater degree or lesser degree for the current domestic policy, the farce that Bush labels compassionate conservatism. That's a euphemism for neoconservatism. And they have little differences here and there. Yeah, sure, a tiger and a lion have differences, but that doesn't change how dead you are if you're alone in a room with one of them and they're hungry. So, what really I thought counted in the debate was the text poll, because that was the only true measure of a non-contained, non-controlled group of people. You called in and you gave your opinion. There was no disqualification based on viewpoints or not fitting into what Fox News people wanted you to see. Or wanted the people to see anyway. And we had two clear winners, those being Ron Paul and Mike Huckabee. And I think when push comes to shove, when it comes to actual votes, I think it'll come down to those two. If I know the Republican Party as well as I knew them before I left back in 2001, I know that they don't, as a matter of practice, nominate Northeasterners, and with good reason too. Northeasterners by nature are condescending, especially the Republican ones, and they don't really follow the party platform very well. Rudy Giuliani, I mean, he's the front runner right now because basically his donation coffers are being flooded with AIPAC money. And Romney has an endless supply, or seemingly endless supply, of personal wealth, so he can stay in as long as he wants to. Fred Thompson is not where he needs to be with the values voters, so his candidacy is going to be in real trouble down the road after his current money runs out and new money doesn't come in unless he is able to pander to the AIPAC people, which I predict he will do. He's a pretty good neoconservative also. But at the end of it all, it was Paul and Huckabee. Now, both Paul and Huckabee, I think, represent, honestly and truthfully, two very different paths for the Republican Party. The Ron Paul way, the constitutional way, is the more sensible way, and it is a way that is a sure path to victory. The alternative is the Mike Huckabee way, which is basically kowtowing to the neoconservative line and trying to consolidate support with evangelical voters. But the problem is that I don't think that evangelical voters alone are going to carry the day. They're important, we have to get them, and I am thankful that Ron Paul is one who can appeal to them, and he will probably be able to garner support from them when he gets the nomination, if we should be so lucky. But there are other groups of people that we need to have in order not only to have a narrow victory, which is the best we could hope for with a Huckabee candidacy, but a mandate, a congressional mandate, a national mandate, that is necessary in order to get anything accomplished, let alone anything positive and anything revolutionary, because we're in dire need of something revolutionary being done, or else the country is going to go bankrupt. Now, as to the post-debate footage, I found myself liking Alan Colmes quite a bit and disliking Sean Hannity quite a lot. Nothing new there. But I find it humorous that Sean Hannity makes it a point to whine about how the text polling is biased. It begs the question why Fox News even bothers having one. The reason why they have one is obvious. They want a little bit of legitimacy to the farce that they call news, which they put out. It's in fact propaganda. But, you know, that also leaves them free to bellyache about the results because they don't match up with what they want, and that's what was going on in the case of Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity he brings the art of bellyaching to an all-new level. I mean, he is like the Leonardo da Vinci of complaining, of whining and crying for mommy because he doesn't get his way. And it's quite comical, actually. I mean, I used to not be a very big fan of Fox News, but ever since these debates started happening and I got to see this side of Sean Hannity, I've been pretty well entertained. And in conclusion, I would just like to say the following. I agree with the sentiments of many Ron Paul supporters here that the gloves are off. We've passed the first two stages. The first they ignore you, then they ridicule, and now they're fighting it. I didn't hear too much laughing going on tonight. And they're probably not laughing because of how much money that Ron Paul has. And that money is going to equal more grassroots activity and more campaign ads, which will be their worst nightmare once things start getting in motion. So that's pretty much it. This was better than the previous debates. Paul got a chance to actually speak on healthcare, which was miraculous considering the news medium that he was in. So I bid you all good luck, and let's get our man elected. With prudence to myself and benevolence to all of you, good evening.